Things it might mean when a guy talks about sex with you. When a guy brings up the topic of sex with you, it can feel like a delicate situation. It's natural to wonder about his intentions. Does he want something more? Or is he just being friendly? The truth is, guys often think about sex quite a bit, so they may bring it up in conversation without any ulterior motive. However, the context, relationship, and timing of these discussions are key to understanding what's really going on. Here are 5 things it might mean when a guy talks about sex with you. 1. He wants a one-night stand. If you met this guy through casual means, such as at a bar or through a dating app, and he quickly jumps into discussions about sex, it could be a red flag. When a man is truly interested in building a deeper connection, he's usually hesitant to bring up sex so soon. A guy who talks about sex early on in your interactions likely isn't looking for anything long-term. Instead, he's testing the waters to see if you're open to a no-strings-attached encounter. This can also apply to situations where you've known each other for a while, but suddenly, his conversations seem to revolve around sex. It's his way of signaling that he's primarily interested in the physical aspect of your relationship. He might drop hints or make suggestive comments to gauge your reaction. If this becomes a consistent theme in your conversations, it's likely that sex is all he's after, and his intentions may not be about building a meaningful connection. 2. He wants your opinion. If the guy in question is a close friend and the conversation turns to sex, he might just be seeking your advice or input. Some people feel comfortable discussing sex openly with friends, and it can even be a way to bond. In this case, he's likely looking for your perspective on relationships, intimacy, or even his own experiences. He could be sharing personal anecdotes or asking about your thoughts on certain situations. However, if he starts bringing up sex frequently or in a more flirtatious way, this could be a sign that he's testing the waters for something more. Perhaps he's gauging if you'd be open to transitioning from a platonic friendship to something with added benefits. So, pay attention to the nature of the conversation. Is he simply asking for advice, or is he pushing boundaries by talking about more personal, intimate topics? 3. He's testing the waters. If you've been dating someone for a while but haven't yet taken the plunge into physical intimacy, he may be talking about sex to test how you feel about it. It's common for men to bring up sex to gauge your comfort level and see if you're ready for the next step in the relationship. He could be asking questions about your past experiences, what you like, or even joking about the idea of becoming more intimate. This is a subtle way of finding out if you're open to the idea of sex without directly asking for it. This could also be a way for him to flirt or express his interest in a playful manner. If you're both having fun talking about sex in a light-hearted way, it might be his way of letting you know he's ready when you are. He could be sharing his fantasies, or simply looking for your reaction to see if you're open to the idea of taking things to the next level. 4. He's horny. Let's face it, sometimes, a guy talks about sex because he's simply horny. This is perhaps the most direct and basic reason a guy may bring up sex. He's thinking about it, and he wants to see if you're thinking about it too. If he sends you suggestive messages, makes flirtatious comments, or brings up sexual topics frequently, it's likely that he's in the mood and wants to know if you are as well. While this doesn't always mean he wants to jump straight into bed with you, it's clear that he's thinking about sex in some capacity. He might be trying to subtly suggest that he's interested in a more physical relationship. It's important to understand that just because he's talking about sex, it doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to act on it immediately, but he's definitely thinking about it. 5. He's immature and turns everything into sexual innuendo. Some guys have a tendency to turn everything into sexual innuendo, even when it's not appropriate or welcomed. This behavior often stems from immaturity or a lack of social awareness. These guys can't seem to talk about anything without bringing up sex, even if the situation isn't related to it at all. This can be frustrating if you're trying to have a serious conversation and he keeps veering into sexual territory. It's important to recognize that this could be a sign of insecurity or a way of seeking attention. While some people may be more prone to making jokes or innuendo in a light-hearted way, for others, it's a way to mask their discomfort with deeper emotions or topics. If this behavior becomes a regular part of your interactions, it could be a sign that he's either immature or not taking your conversations seriously. 6. He's interested in deepening your connection. Not all conversations about sex are purely physical. In some cases, a guy might talk about sex because he's genuinely interested in deepening your emotional connection. This may sound counterintuitive, but for some men, talking about sex in an open and honest way can be a way to explore mutual desires, fantasies, and emotional intimacy. If you're in a committed relationship and he's bringing up sex more frequently, it could be his way of seeking a deeper emotional connection with you. It might be his attempt to create a more intimate atmosphere or to bring up discussions about what you both enjoy in the bedroom. These conversations could help strengthen the bond between you, allowing both of you to share your feelings and desires openly. 7. He's trying to flirt or build attraction. For some guys, talking about sex is simply a form of flirting. If he's trying to build attraction or make you notice him in a romantic way, talking about sex may be one of the tools in his flirting arsenal. He might mention things like, "Wouldn't it be amazing if we," or casually drop a compliment about your appearance, followed by a suggestion of what could happen if the two of you were alone. While this may be a playful way of gauging your interest, it's also a tactic to see how far he can push the conversation without crossing boundaries. If this is happening early on in your relationship, it could be his way of testing the waters to see if you feel the same way about him. Whether or not you reciprocate, this could be his attempt to build a playful, flirtatious dynamic. How to respond when a guy talks about sex with you. Now that you understand what it might mean when a guy talks about sex, the next step is knowing how to respond. Your response should depend on the context and your feelings. If you're uncomfortable with the conversation, it's perfectly okay to set boundaries and redirect the topic. On the other hand, if you feel open to discussing sex or exploring the idea further, feel free to engage in a healthy, respectful conversation. If you suspect that he's only interested in sex and not a deeper connection, be honest with him about your expectations and desires. Let him know if you're not on the same page. If you feel like he's testing the waters for a more serious relationship, be sure to communicate your feelings clearly to ensure that both of you are on the same wavelength. In the end, conversations about sex can be an opportunity to connect more deeply or to set boundaries. By understanding the underlying reasons for why he's bringing it up, you can respond in a way that aligns with your own feelings and intentions. Whether it's a playful flirtation, a test of boundaries, or a more serious conversation, understanding why a guy talks about sex can help you navigate the situation with confidence. Recognizing the context and your own feelings will guide you in making the right choice for yourself. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss any new videos. Let us know your thoughts about this video in the comment section down below, and feel free to stay and enjoy it until the end. Also make sure to check out our next highlighted video, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.